This idea of looking at other disciplines for clues of success is something that I absolutely love getting myself into. You know, looking at sports that I have no idea about, no experience. I've never tried it, never done the training, but I watch them and I watch the body compositions and I watch the body movements and I watch how they go about simple human movement, and I'm like looking at it from afar and I'm like, that's interesting. That is interesting. When you're constantly looking at one type of athlete, you almost become biased on what's proper movement. So like if you come from the powerlifting community and all you see is low bar squats, and all you see is sumo deadlifts, and all you see is a certain type of bench press that doesn't have a lot of range of motion, and you just keep consuming that, because you kind of develop these beliefs, these biases, which is normal, right? That's kind of what the human experience is. You develop these ideas that you believe to be truths. And then it goes for every sport around the place. I remember when I first started playing basketball, I was pretty good. I was better than a lot of the kids, and I ended up going from Division 5 to Division 2 in a very short period, like half a season I got put up. And it wasn't because I was an excellent basketball player, it was because I was an athlete. This idea of taking a two-step layup, at the age of 10 was like, that's like nothing. The idea of like footwork was nothing. And that's because I came from football. Playing football in Croatia and Serbia every single day on the streets. As a kid, it was just like basketball footwork was a joke to me. I was quick on my feet. I could get in front of people. It was just, the carryover was easy. That's football to basketball. And I've seen other people, much, much better people, professional people talk about the same thing. Steve Nash comes to mind. He was a footballer and then he went to basketball. He found success. And there's many other different, volleyballers going to basketball, humongous vertical leaps. But what makes a volleyballer jump higher than a basketballer? What's going on there? What do they do? And so like you dot around, the sporting community and you kind of look at other things. This idea of wrestlers training their necks interested me because they don't just have strong necks, they have strong everything around the neck, the traps, the rear deltoids, like everything is like supporting that structure from not compromising under assault. Somebody called it a collar tie or something like that. Like as in the move where you grab somebody at the back of the neck and try and like fold them downwards. That to me is intriguing. That to me is very interesting. In an ideal world, I would love to get all of these different people from all sorts of different sporting endeavors. And I would love to, after a little, I don't want rookies, man. Like I want somebody that's been in the sport for like 5-10 years or something, like somebody that's been in that particular type of training regimen for a while. And I would love to like test them. I would love to test them and see what's going on, right? Test them in the barbell lifts, the simple stuff. No quick lifts where technique is a big problem. I want to know them. I want to see how they squat. I want to see how they deadlift. I want to see how they bench press. I'm going to kind of like document where they are. I remember there was a rock climber that I discovered, I think it was last year or the year before. Very like big popular guy. Somewhere from Scandinavia, I want to say, Swedish guy or something like that. Very, very skinny guy. Very, very skinny guy. But he was able to deadlift, I want to say damn near 2 times his body weight or something like that. And which is, very, very impressive for somebody that's never ever done it. So what is it about a rock climber that makes him deadlift a lot of weight? Like what's going on there? He doesn't have glutes and hamstrings like a powerlifter does. I definitely, when I went into squatting and deadlifting, I freaking didn't deadlift 2 times my body weight day one. Absolutely no. It took me years. So here is a guy that trains his sport and it's carried over. And so I want to pick that apart and be like, okay, so what is it about that? What about his training is that? Is the upper back? Is the upper back that dominant in a deadlift? Same thing with a wrestler. I would love to put a barbell on their back and see how they squat. Are they very, very upright? Because their upper back is so freaking strong. It's the last thing that's going to compromise. Maybe the lower back rounds a little bit because they're not strong in the lower back. Maybe they are. Maybe they don't have leg drive. Like, do they have strong legs? Do they have strong glutes? What do they look like under a barbell? That to me is so intriguing, man. Really, really is intriguing because like every sport has its own little movement patterns and strengths. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, a powerlifter, they can deadlift 3 times their body weight. Doesn't mean they're going to be really good in a fight, in a wrestling match. Doesn't mean they're going to be able to do really well in rock climbing. Absolutely not. Just because you have a huge squat doesn't mean you have a high vertical. So there's all these different elements that come into it that, it's intriguing to me. And I think this is where the clues are. If you're struggling with your upper back, yeah, sure, you can look at a bodybuilder and just put meat on it. You can train your upper back that way. Or you can look at somebody that has a strong upper back that is functional, that is actually a sport. How many bodybuilders train their necks? It seems ridiculous. I never gave it much thought, to be honest. But then I saw the wrestlers and I'm like, that's interesting. That is really interesting. Is there any value in doing that? And then I start waving my freaking neck around the place. Extensions, flexions. Today I added flexions, curls, whatever they're called. And I'm like, wow, it's not just the neck, dude. These flexions definitely feel mostly in the neck, like at the front of the neck. But extensions, man, I'm feeling that stuff like halfway down my freaking spine. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? That is like incredible. I feel more in my erectors, in my rhomboids doing that than I do doing barbell rows. What is going on there? That to me is really, really interesting. I think about Kurt Angle, the wrestler, with huge traps. Like all these different wrestlers. I think about UFC, all these guys with jacked freaking shoulders. I think about boxers, their serratus anterior and their development of the traps. What's going on there? So it's like, I sit there and I just try to like marvel at the human body and how it adapts to certain endeavors. And I'm like, can I learn something from that? Can I learn something from it? And then like apply it to my sport. And I think over the course of like hundreds of years, especially in the future as we go on, these clues are going to be more and more and more. And maybe one day, like there's going to be some guy that's going to freaking rock up, I don't know, in some sport, powerlifting. And he's going to be like, man, I just built a fat freaking neck and I could deadlift like a maniac. Turns out that if you have a strong freaking neck, you'll be able to deadlift really well. It's like, what? That's stupid. But who knows, right? Like, who knows? Somebody in the future is going to connect a couple of dots that's going to change the paradigm of the sport. It happens all the time in history. Somebody connects the dot and it's like, oh, okay, damn. I mean, Steph Curry shoots the ball damn near from the hip. From the hip. This is a full-grown man shooting the ball from the hip. How did he make it in the NBA? That's weird, right? How do you get your shot off? Well, he changed the whole way that people play sports for the last 10, 15 years. Isn't that insane? It just takes somebody connecting a couple of dots and we're like, yeah, I reckon I'll try that. And then boom, success. Unbelievable. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.